Well, hello there, and this is Auntie, and I am here to do my review on Married at First Sight, Season 6, Episode 6, Move Ins. If this is your first time being here, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And to all of my new subscribers, thank you so much for joining the family. To all of my nieces and nephews, thank you so much for being here and being part of Auntie's channel. Okay, y'all. We're going to go ahead on and get into this. I'm not going to be out here long because the longer I stay out here, the more likely I am to read every one of these cast members. Get all outside of the box and some more stuff. And Auntie is a little tired, just a little too tired to be doing that tonight. But anyway, we see our couples on their move-in. They have left their honeymoon, and now it is time for them to go through the move-in process. We're going to start off with Molly and John. Molly and John are attracted to each other, but they don't want to consummate the marriage. John is allowing Molly to do what she do with the whoop-whoop and the boo-boo-boo. They meet with each other, and they decide that they're going to check out each other apartments. And so Molly goes over first and checks out John's apartment. She likes his apartment. It's in an upscale building and everything. He has a cat that he says means everything to him, but it appears that Molly is allergic to the cat. And so while they were on their honeymoon, they were having some little issues with it. But you know what? If you allergic, you allergic. And so, as Molly is there, she's talking about having to have a parking space. If you are living in a city, like Boston, I guess, Philly, New York, Washington, D.C., you know that parking can be a mess. And so to have your own parking space is basically, it's like everything. All street parking, having to park in the city is absolutely horrible. So there was a part of me that could relate to Molly about that. Um, and so, they look at his place. He doesn't have a lot of clothes. Most of his clothes are folded up in a drawer. And she says, oh, I got a lot of stuff. And so then we see them go over to Molly's place. Both of them are very simplistic. They're like me. I love counter space. I'm not the kind of person who has cookie jars and all of that kind of stuff on the counter because I like to have that counter space. And I love living in simplicity. Although I do love feminine things like in my bedroom and stuff like that. But anyway, I digress because this ain't about me. But I like the fact that they both saw that they kind of live the same, that they live in simplicity, not a whole lot of decorations, just enough to call it home. And so we see them, going apartment shopping and everything. They look at one apartment. It doesn't have parking. It's off street. And Molly looked like she's about to pass out. But before then, they all sit down and they talk about, how much they make. Molly says that she makes about $55,000 a year. And John mentions that he made $70,000. And so, she was talking about him having a lot of degrees, and she wasn't worried about him, not being able to get back up on his feet. But let me tell you something, boo. Degrees don't mean anything out here in this society. But okay. And so anyway, they decide that they're going to look at a place together. And so they want to have, a really nice place to play. First place, like I said, they looked at, it didn't have the parking, it had off-street parking. And so the next place they looked at, the lady was like, I will be able to accommodate you. We have a garage across the street. And it was perfect for them. And so they decided they're going to move in. John, being considerate and being a husband that he wants to be, decided to give his cat to his friend to take care of. And he's hoping that they're going to stay married, but he's like, just in case we don't, I want to be able to get my cat back. And Molly she's happy. She's packing and her sister's talking to her, and she's like, we're getting along, we're getting close and everything. Basically, we haven't consummated the marriage yet, but I respect the fact that he's waiting. She says that when he was on the honeymoon, he was hyper and everything, and this more serious John that she sees is the guy that she likes. One thing about Molly is Molly said that, in her budget, she budgets for her eyelashes, her lipsticks, and her hair. And as women, those are things that we do budget, we put into our budget. At least for the ones that like to look girly. And so I didn't see anything wrong with it. I thought that, this was a better side of Molly. She still seems to have that little stick up her, what. But for the most part, I was like, okay, I'm with this. I'm with this. I think that she's going to have to allow John to be who he is, and hopefully she will get to the point where she'll become more comfortable with him. They seem to really be clicking, but I'm telling you right now, I see doomsday coming, like I really do. But anyway, we move on to Jaclyn and to Ryan. They decide to go over to his place. She likes his place and everything. And then they come back to hers. And they too decide that they're going to have another place. Surprisingly, he says that he makes about $60,000 a year, and so does she. And so, I guess that's good if you're just getting out of college and everything. $60,000. It's a lot of money. And so between the two of them, they're making about $120,000. So they decided they're going to find them a place. They put their budget together and they go and look at the first place. It's way too expensive. And it was just, as soon as you came through the door, there was a bedroom. I was like, I don't like that. Like, who wants a bedroom right there? But before they even got there, no, when they got there, they looked at that, and then they didn't like it, and it was off-street parking as well. And so Jaclyn was like, hey, I ain't trying to do this. So they left, and they found another place, and it was perfect for them. And they decided, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to move in here temporarily, and they're excited. We see Jaclyn go back home, and, she has like one of those little townhomes, and she's going through the garage, and now she's finding things, boxes that have the possessions of her boyfriend who has passed. And she gets very emotional about it. She has an empty picture frame, and she says this is what's supposed to be a frame for our ski trip. And it is just really sad. And for anybody who has loved and lost, you know what it is like to lose someone you love, because you also, not only do you lose the person, but you lose all the hopes, the dreams, the potential, everything that relationship had attached to it. And so while other people may not understand that it takes a while to grieve over someone, Ryan is the same. Ryan comes in, he sees that she's crying. He says in his mind that he believes that she's taking a step back. And I thought that was just really insensitive, because you cannot put a timeline around grief. And he says this in his confessional, but to her, he says, I don't want this to cause a wedge between us, and I'm not going to allow it to. I'm your husband, and I'm here now, and I'm going to help you through this process. Do you want to talk about it, or do you want to, keep it hidden? Again, that was insensitive, Ryan. I don't think that Ryan means to be insensitive. I just think that he just don't know what to say out his mouth. I really believe he has been allowed to be the butthole, to be the jokester, to be the clown. And he's just not sensitive to people's feelings. And I think that he's going to get a rude awakening, because I think that at some point Jaclyn is going to put her foot down, and she's going to become tired of it. He hugs her and he kisses her and everything. And he says that he's, I'm the perfect husband. When they move in together, he says that he wants to, the night that they move in together, he says that he wants to have a fresh start. But still and yet he tells her that he feels like she's going backwards and he doesn't want to be in a relationship with someone who's not ready. And the thing about it is the way that he was saying it was very accusatory. He was making a lot of accusations instead of just asking the questions that he needed to ask. Ryan should have approached it to me a whole lot differently than he did. I'm not feeling Ryan. I'm going to tell y'all that now off the brickety break. I just believe that he just says anything out of his mouth. And I think that he has been, like I said, allowed to do that. And I know so many people who've been allowed to just say whatever they want to say out of their mouth to people and have no consideration for how it sounds and is it the appropriate time to say something. And so Jaclyn is really confused because she's like, okay, first he said he was helping me and he was my husband. He was not going to allow this to cause a wedge, but here it is the night that we're supposed to be moving in together. And he's making it an issue and he is causing a wedge to be placed between the two of them. I wish them luck. I just like these couples this year. Like I don't know what the experts was thinking. One thing that I have noticed is that the staff, other than Miss Pepper, Dr. Pepper, and the pastor, they keep going through these sex therapists and stuff. They need to keep the staff consistent so that the people, if they can't keep the staff consistent, then the help that they need is inconsistent. The matchmaking gets thrown off. You kind of need, in order to do matchmaking, you need to be able to have and retain the same staff so that the doctors and the therapists and the specialists can get together and build over time. But with them, they're always, seeming to be bringing in a new specialist of some kind. Dr. Calvin is really good and Dr. Pepper is really good, but these other people that they keep bringing in here, they need to make sure that these people are in it for the long haul because these couples absolutely need the help. Now, if I'm wrong with the staffing, please let me know, but it just seems like every time they have a relationship or a sex person, that it's a new face every season. Anyway, I digress. So now we go on to Shawniece and Jepthe. Like, this is a disaster. They go over to her place first, and she lives with her family, with her mom. And she lives upstairs in the attic, and she has all over the place. Although it's neat, it's too much stuff. And I know that she has her own business, her own hair business and everything, but it's a little bit too much stuff to me. To be trying to bring into a relationship. I'm hoping that she thought, okay, let me run my business out of my mom's house and let my home be my home. I think that when you are going into a new relationship like that you should separate, give yourself an opportunity to be outside of the home. I think that's important for your mental stability is that you separate, find some kind of way to separate yourself from your business, for people who are entrepreneurs. Anyway, and then they go off to Jepthe's house. Now, what a lot of you don't know is that Jephte they have this little special that comes on prior to the show. And they talk to them. Dr. Calvin had a conversation with Jephte all by himself. And he was really disappointed with him and with his behavior. It looked like at one time he was going to backslap him. But one of the things that he said was that he thought that he was going to be getting a supermodel. He thought that this woman was going to be beautiful and that he found himself not attracted to her. That isn't a secret to any one of us. We all have seen that, he says, I feel like I'm growing close to her, but he's not physically attracted to her. Men are visual creatures. And I know that I'm a natural woman. I'm the first one who celebrates being natural. But I also know that men are visual. And one of the things about her is that she doesn't keep herself up well. Her hair is all over the place. And I know it's, there's a way to be natural and there's a way to be classy and natural. Now, I know my natural sisters are probably going to attack me for this. But this is just my opinion, one woman's opinion. I do believe that she is letting too much of herself go. And, you know, when she went to go and meet her mother, she had that sweatshirt on. She didn't have any makeup on. Her hair was all over the place. And men, especially, you know, just meeting this guy for the first time, keep yourself up. You look at Molly, you know, she's over made up. And then you look at Jaclyn, she's, you know, just enough. And then you look at her and she just looking raggedy and shraggedy. You have to keep your appearance up. You can't let yourself just go down. You know what you know what I'm saying? I know this is a touchy subject. Say, you know, put your comments down below and tell me if you disagree with me. I like the fact that she's all sold in to this experiment and that, you know, she sees this man as her husband. But I just want her to step her game up. She doesn't have to look the way that she's looking and homely and depressed and all of that kind of stuff, washed out, never, you know, trying to fix herself up. Now, it was one thing, you know, when they were in Jamaica and her luggage was lost, but it's another thing when you're at home. Your husband wants to see you beautiful. And no, you don't have to put on a whole bunch of makeup and all of that kind of stuff. But keep your appearances up, boo. God dang. But anyway, okay, so I digress. They go over to Jephte's house. He is so unattracted to her that he didn't even think to clean up. Now, if he had this supermodel woman that he wanted them to match him up with, he would have cleaned up. It speaks a lot to his attraction for her. He's like, we married to each other, and I'm just going to, you know, I ain't even going to do nothing special for her because I'm really not attracted to her. He doesn't want her to touch him. You notice when you see Jaclyn and Ryan, they're holding hands, and when you see Molly and John, they're touching each other in the back, you know, and on the side and on the hand and stuff. They're not into the holding hands, but they are making some kind of physical contact. They're sleeping together. Jephte on the first night slept on the floor, and when she came to kiss him good night, he was like, don't touch me. And it just was like, oh my God, like, why did this guy sign up for this experiment? He said, you know, to Dr. Calvin during the special that he's never done this before. None of the people have ever done this before. A lot of people, you know, have done this. This is the 6th season, Jephte. You knew what you were signing up for. But because you did not get that supermodel that you thought you should have gotten, you know, you just rejecting this girl. And I don't know how she's staying in it. And I say to her, fix yourself up and leave that flucker. He's not even worth it to you. You know, you have to meet somebody halfway. He's not even meeting her 1/3 of the way. It is just so disappointing to see this because they seem to be the youngest ones out of the bunch. He says that he has religious beliefs and, you know, his mother raised him up this particular way. But then when we went to his apartment, there was alcohol up on the counter. Even when he was in Jamaica, he was drinking a whole bunch of alcohol. So, you know, people pick and choose what they, you know what, like, for real, I would have just taken this whole thing and said, look, I can't do it anymore. There's nothing worse than feeling like you're not being loved and appreciated by somebody. And she wants so desperately to just be touched. And, you know, she goes in, he lays on the living room floor. His roommate has moved out, so there's really no furniture in there. And she goes into the room, and the room is filthy. She got to sleep on that filthy bed. He didn't even care enough about her to put new sheets on the bed. Like, what the hell kind of relationship is this? Like, my heart goes out to her, but at the same time, I'm like, sister, look, you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. And I know this is an experiment and you all in, but this man has done nothing to tell you or to show you that he even appreciates the fact that you married him at first sight, that you even made yourself available for it. They also showed, you know, a clip of when they were doing different things, like they went and climbed up, you know, a waterfall and everything. He was scared to step in the water. He was scared to climb up the stairs. Like, everything to him it's like a newborn baby. There's nothing that he has enjoyed and nothing that he has done that he has not had resistance to. They went bobsledding, and he had to brake on the whole entire time. He couldn't enjoy it. And so she ended up going the second time and going by herself. And she was like, I went full speed. I didn't have the brake on. I just enjoyed it. And it's like, it was like a roller coaster type bobsled thing. Because after all, they are in Jamaica. And so it's like he doesn't live, and there's so many people who live in fear and can't enjoy life. So anyway, I digress. I just wanted to give you all a little bit of background about it, because I know a lot of people are hoping the best for them, but this man has already went into it with false expectations. And so she really don't at this point have an ice cube chance to hell with him. He's not attracted to her. He doesn't even care. One of the things I noticed about Ryan, I'm going to go back to him real quick. The thing that I noticed about Ryan is that Ryan always goes through the door before Jaclyn. He has no etiquette. He's just as classless as he could be. When they went into the room, to the first apartment, he walked through the door first. Didn't even hold the door for him. He's not a gentleman. And I've noticed that on several occasions when they were in Jamaica and he got on the bus. They got on the bus. She said, ladies first. He kept it moving. He got right up on that bus. Like, where they get these people from? Out of a barn? Like, where did they get these people from? So anyway, so it's moving day. And they show Shawniece helping him pack. And she's trying to laugh and joke and cuddle up to him and touch him at some point. And he's just so grossed out. He said that, mentally this is too much for him. They're packing. He's got the tape. She's, trying to be close to him. I'm your wife, and, that kind of thing. And he just grossed out. They go on a look at the first place. The first place is too expensive. I don't even know why the girl showed him the place. I hate a realtor that doesn't show you what you asked for. So they go to the place and everything is too expensive. They go to the next place and they like that place. Shawniece started dancing and everything, because I guess, they both made a decision that they liked it. And the way he was standing at that refrigerator looking at her was like, ugh, she's so ugly. She's so unattractive. She's so not what I want. Neither one of them talked about how much money they made. He said that he was a school teacher and he didn't have a budget. And she was like, why don't you budget? He doesn't clean. She's clean. He doesn't organize. She's organized. He doesn't budget. She budgets. Experts, tell me what you matched them on. What was the criteria that you matched them on? At the end of the day, she ends up meeting with her mother, and she tells her mother, I'm tired and I can't do this. Her mother kind of tries to blow her off, and she said, Mom, we haven't even had sex. He doesn't touch me. We don't sleep together. The mother was like, she starts crying and said, I'm ready to give up. And the mother said, I can tell that you're ready to give up, Shawniece, but you need to hang in here. Both of y'all are too willing to give up. She goes back to the house with that orange t-shirt on, looking beat down. And she tries to express herself to him, to a man who already finds her unattractive. She tries to express herself, and of course she cries. And if you've been with me on this channel, I always say that men don't understand tears. They understand you talking. All we've seen is Shawniece crying. She is hurt down to her very soul. And every time you cry like that over something or someone who is tearing down your self-esteem, you go one step down further. Shawniece, fix yourself up, baby, and get out this relationship. I'm not saying don't embrace your natural self, but I'm saying just do something to care for yourself. When you put your makeup and stuff like that on, you are very attractive. And you know what, whether you have makeup on or you don't have makeup on, you're beautiful all by yourself. But what you need to do in order to build yourself back up, start doing little things for yourself. Like Molly said, I'm going to put my hair in my budget. I'm going to put my nails in my budget. Those are things that I'm going to budget for. And Shawniece, I think you need to budget for those things. Pamper yourself. Enjoy yourself, girl. I don't know whether or not you and Jephte are still together. I have a feeling that you are. But I'm just saying, you know what? Nobody deserves to be like this. Jephte, you knew what the hell you were signing up for. And you have just shown and proven that you are just a child. And it's so sad because even when she stood there and poured her heart out and said, you know what? I feel like you don't want me. I feel unwanted. She told her mother the same thing, and her mother started crying because the reality hit her. My daughter is unhappy in this relationship. And I be god dang on if I'm going to have my daughter unhappy in a relationship. You can't live for them. You want to, but you can't live for them. But I felt for her. This week's episode was very interesting. We see the couples, they kind of like turn in a circle. Um, I think that there's danger ahead for all three of the couples. I don't really know what the criteria were for matching these couples up. And I'm hoping that the experts are right. I just got a feeling that they're not. Um, I just got a feeling that they're not. And with the divorce rate being as high as it is, I think that they would work a little harder with trying to match these couples up just right. I think that next year they should do this somewhere else. I see that they're already recruiting and advertising for couples in Dallas, Texas, to be married at first sight. And I hope that we see some couples that really stick together. These couples don't even make the show fun. But I'm going to continue to keep on reviewing this over and over and over again. Thank you so much for being here. Let's pray for these people because at the end of the day, at the end of my review, when I cut this camera off, their lives still go on. And so we're going to be praying for these couples, but I swear I just don't think that this is it. Love you all to pieces. Have a great night on purpose. Auntie loves you. Bye.